Churchill only started painting when he was 40, but it was an extraordinarily important part of his life thereon. He was extraordinarily accomplished, and it was fabulous therapy for him. He blossomed under the influence of William Nicholson, Lavery and Paul Maze. John Lavery was a great friend of my grandparents and lived next door to them in London, and he and his wife used to visit Chartwell a lot. I think he taught my grandfather a great deal about painting. Paul Maze also became a friend of my grandfather's and was an influence on his work. There was a big dining room at Chartwell, and my mother from a very young age joined the grown-up table. I think her best friend in that group was William Nicholson. He drew the cat endlessly. There was always a ginger cat in my grandfather's life, and to this day there is always one at Chartwell. The portrait of Winston Churchill by Burley was my mother's favourite portrait of her father, which she always had hanging in a prominent position in the sitting room. Walter Sickert also came into the family picture, and there are some wonderful pictures by Sickert. The pictures in the house include many by Winston Churchill. For instance, the very first picture that he ever gave my mother, which is a view of Carcassonne in France. And then there's a fabulous picture of Chartwell in the snow, of course that Chartwell being his family home. And then there's another one, and it's a wonderful view of the goldfish pond at Chartwell. My grandfather and my mother were very close, and I think this is reflected most in the pictures of Chartwell. You see it in all its seasons, and it's where my mother spent a really idyllic childhood.